And welcome back to another edition of Running with James. My name is James Wyatt, and I am the host of the Running with James podcast. The host, quite possibly with the most, because I have two of the most important and amazing people that you will ever meet, and that is Coach Carlos and Lauren.
Oh, why was I second?
That was Lauren and Coach Carlos.
I'm fine with that.
See, it goes either way. Doesn't really matter, right? Just I said most, and all you heard is that you were second.
A seniority.
Be thankful.
I am thankful, but I'm also seniority.
Wow, she's quick with that.
Not
opinion.
in life.
Actually, I think you're older than.
Not in life. Not in
Oh,
life.
I guess she means by podcast.
By
seniority.
podcast.
Gotcha.
Seniority.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But Carlos, you are very valuable. I'm glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Nice.
Mhm.
Very-
I got to be nice
was-
to him, so he lets me keep working out with him.
She was very opinionated. You know, we just did a
Patreon.
Patreon.
So
and She
patient.
was wouldn't give an opinion, but now as soon as she mentioned her name second, she is just.
As soon as it becomes non-political, in my, I'm fine.
Attack.
I'm attack.
So, I was actually quite proud of her because she didn't like completely shut down. So I was good. I was proud of you.
I'm always a little on edge. I'm just like back here. Like, don't look at the back of the chair. You don't want to see it.
I think when you mentioned Mexico, she looked at me and her eyes were like,
Yeah. He's talking about
Your
me.
people.
I know. Have you noticed that with like
Your people.
like there are certain things like Mexican, black, certain words or things that you say that may reference a person, and people get like fancy. And quiet.
I could feel the anxiety.
Yeah,
Like, I felt
It's like,
anxiety
you
just
realize Mexico is
radiating
a
over there.
country,
Yes,
right? It's not a bad
just-
word.
yes.
It's like my dad used to say Mexican. He didn't even say Mexico. He said Mexicans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when you have the people who whisper black.
Yeah, black.
They were black. I'm like, what? They were what?
You're one of those people. What are you
No, I'm
talking
not.
about? Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
You suffer from such white privilege guilt.
That is true, but I don't whisper that.
Yeah, okay. He's like, so what did you say? What did they look like? Well, you know, they were about 6 foot tall. They had black hair, pretty muscular. Okay, anything else you can tell me? They have a beard, mustache, what?
Skirting around the entire
It's like-
part.
I bet you take her to Home Depot. What color paint would you like, ma'am?
Really
It's
dark
espresso.
gray.
Yeah, so-
Espresso.
No, extremely dark. What's the darkest
we're
gray
just
gray
gonna
you
go
have?
charcoal. We're
Yeah,
just going
charcoal,
charcoal.
straight charcoal.
You need whatever color is the absence of all light.
So if you are a Patreon member, you're going to get probably, honestly,
It's a lot. You're gonna get your money's
if we
worth.
weren't a running podcast or like an athletic podcast, that would have been a great episode. Honestly, I think it would have been so good because it was so like connected to what's going on in the world right now, right? And it's frustrations that we're all feeling and things that we're seeing that I think a lot of people would like to voice, but they don't because they don't want to offend and they don't want to hurt the gentle people on the.
No, I think we had a good take.
Yeah.
Talked about our opinions and our take on the situations,
Yep.
and it was good. And
Yep.
Lauren's take as well.
She had one as well.
I got in there a little bit.
She did.
As
She
much
gets
as
so
much
nervous.
as I do, as much as I could. I chewed down on my cuticles in the process, guys. I really did. I'm not even joking.
I
Just
don't
a
get
little
it.
bit of blood.
I don't understand it. I just like it's okay to like believe in something and like have an opinion about something and it be different than someone else's.
You're right. It is. I just sometimes keep it to myself.
Yeah. Well, you'll never change the world that way.
We're constantly figuring out the things that make Lauren anxious, like sleep. Apparently,
Sleep makes you anxious?
A conversation I had with him earlier was like, yeah, I got way too much sleep, and then I woke up and I was stressed out because I got so much
Oh, that's
sleep.
right. Yes, she was.
That was really a statement she said?
Yes, I was like,
Because I woke up late.
You know, it's
I
probably
woke up.
better that you don't share your opinions. You
I
should
w-
probably, you should probably
woke-
stay quiet. You're right.
I woke
James
up
has
so
changed-
late. And I
I
was
changed
like, I have
my
so
mind.
much to do.
See, that's what happens when you when you give your voice, you can change people's minds. You just changed my mind.
You don't want to hear mine anymore.
You are effective. You are effective change right now.
No
effective
more.
change.
We don't want to hear it anymore.
Oh my gosh! The other day we were in the gym and one of Carlos's athletes was in there and we were talking. They were talking about listening to the podcast. And like, yeah, my favorite part is the beginning part. You know, the part where y'all just. And I was like, the banter. He's like, yeah. He's like, when y'all just go back and forth. And I was like, you know how many times I've heard people say that's their least favorite part.
Yeah, that's generally not everyone's favorite part because they're just like, please get to the good stuff.
No, I think the problem is that Lauren will talk to these people afterwards, and she like gives a different kind of take, and she kind of takes that like, oh, James is being mean to me the whole time, and so they feel bad for her, And so they're just like the mean old Coach James just beating up on the little innocent Lauren.
She's trying to get a grasp.
They've met you.
With the woman.
They've all met you. They don't need me to
No,
like
what
say
they're doing is
anything.
they're like, man, that doesn't seem like James. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for you. Yeah, he doesn't do that to me. He's not mean to me.
But you know what it is? And if we're getting it from Lauren, you know, the feedback of the people, they might just ask a question. Hey, how was James? They were saying James was upset. You know, it's just they asked a question. Since she already immediately is just like anxiety, and then just James was being mean. The people don't like it. They just asked a question.
Yeah, that's it.
Not entirely.
I'm
true.
really worried for Lauren sometimes. I actually had someone tell me that. Like, I was listening to it. Yeah, sometimes I just worry about her. I was like, why? Well, just kind of like how you talk to her and like you're just relentless. And I'm like,
They
like,
have a point.
she
Okay.
is relentless. Like
I'm just being me over here.
Like I said, she is relentless. Like she will not stop being her. She will like not change. Like I'm willing to change.
How?
I've changed a lot actually.
I'm just as a newcomer to the show.
Mhm.
I'm going to just give my kind of
Bring it.
observation here.
Observation.
My observation
Observe.
here is when any sort of story James tells,
Thank you.
and it is
I already know what he's gonna say.
and it's at his kind of behest or
At his expense.
At his expense. Thank you. I see a complete change in Lauren. I'm glad we have video
perks
now.
up?
Perks up.
Oh.
Gleefully laughs. Glee. I've never
Like
seen,
when I thought
like-
James was getting punched in the face.
Oh, yeah. The fight club. Oh, God, that was. I've never. She was at the edge of her seat.
I know she was
She was
enjoying
just-
it so much.
I don't like my friends getting hurt, but that was a funny story. Anyone getting decked in the face is kind of funny.
especially if
Especially
it's me.
James.
I didn't
Okay.
say that.
Yeah, your face says it.
Hang on, can I do another take? Hang on.
No. Okay, let's go. Let's see it. Here we go. All right, say it again.
Yeah, you can't hide anything. It's pretty ridiculous. And I'm the mean one.
Yeah.
I
I'm
genuinely hate watching my friends get decked in the face.
You can't even like.
My eyes.
Her mouth is like literally shaking up and down. It's I've never seen the corner of somebody's lips quiver.
She was quivering, but I'll give you an A for effort on that one.
Thanks.
But
Thanks.
That
Him
was
or
it.
me? Him or
You.
me?
You.
No,
It's
me.
you.
Thank you.
I'm saying thanks for grading her. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, it's been a little bit of a week. I feel like I was watching something this morning, and they signed I guess they finalized the deal with China. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah, they finalized the deal with China, but we're about to bomb Iran
Oh, well, that's
because apparently those aren't going good. And there's 8 days of riots been going on in California. Apparently this weekend they're going to be some sort of like nationwide protest. I've heard in different cities.
Oh,
like
wow.
they're planning it. So like
Okay.
San Antonio is really getting hyped up. Miami. So like all cities with like
high Latin
high
population.
immigration populations, right? It's a powder keg everywhere, right? And
I mean, you have Mr. T. Threat. They were talking about arresting the California governor.
California
It is
governor.
it's almost like watching wrestling nowadays.
it is out of control, dude. This world is out of control, and then like every day you think it's gonna calm down a little bit, and then you're like, nope, not today.
No, it's
So like when we come on here and we have our podcast and we're talking about, today, guys, we're going to talk about aerobic conditioning. It just doesn't seem to have the same punch it used to.
well, guys, for those riots, you need a good aerobic base.
You do.
So
You
when
want a good
you're-
aerobic
yes.
base. So in case you got to cut and run,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So you can
Pace
get, like,
yourself.
pace yourself. Don't
Do not
just
go out
sprint.
too hot. No,
Yes.
just she's in shock.
I am really in shock that this is how we're segueing into the topic of the conversation. In case you need to make a run, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
These are the times.
I just think it's ridiculous. It's just like, I don't know. Why can't we just get back to, what? Let's live life together. Let's make each other better. Let's be stronger, because we are better together, honestly. And, it's the summertime and, we don't have any races coming up. I don't know. It's like, it just feels like there's nothing to focus on. So let's blow the world. I don't know, man. It's just out of control.
No races. We're upset.
Yeah, there's just people. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, that's.
Maybe that's what California is pissed off. There's no high rocks races going on right now.
I feel them. I'm gonna be out there.
Yeah. This dude said I'm going to be out there. Are you going to be running with a Mexican flag?
No, I'm older. I'm not down for being shot with rubber bullets or tear gas.
I don't bounce back as quick.
I definitely don't bounce back as quick.
Nice.
It's, a pillow can take me out. So I'm sleep on the wrong.
You hear that, people?
Yeah, sleep on the wrong pillow on the couch. So
That's awesome. Yeah, my daughter almost took me out the other day. Like I was.
Apparently, a woman in the parking lot almost took you out yesterday.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You weren't going to tell that story?
That's true. I
Oh,
forgot all about
whoa.
that.
This was very interesting. Really out of the blue, and I'm really sad I missed
Maybe
actually
that's
all
what,
of it.
and I think that's the thing. I'm thinking about like this world's going to hell in a handbasket. It's out of control, dude. So I had one of my athletes supposed to show up, and I got a text. And I was like, "Hey, can you come outside?" And so I thought they were like got a new car or something they wanted to show me. So I'm like, "I guess, whatever." So I start walking outside, and there's this lady like screaming and hollering and like dancing in front of her car and like banging on the hood. Look, she couldn't have been
Where?
more than 110
Here?
pounds. Yes, in the parking lot.
She was like a real small, it was also what she was wearing that they
She
kept
had
telling
like on
us.
blacked like leggings, and then she had like kind of a bra, but it was like a kind of like gypsy style like sequenced bra.
it wasn't one of my clients, was it?
No, it wasn't
Okay,
one of yours.
perfect.
No, because I'd have called you.
Okay.
You
Come
need
get
to
your girl.
But there was like belly dancing music going on out of her car. Like,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Super loud. She had like paint on her face and like stickers on her face. It was just a whole thing. And she had her phone out, and she's like filming her and yelling at her how she's filming her and she's doing this. And I walked out and I was like, "Ma'am, can I help you, please?" And she turned around and she's like, "Now I got you." I was like, "Oh, okay, how can I help you?" She's like yelling all kinds of just crazy stuff at me, cussing me out and everything else. And I'm like, "Ma'am, I don't know what's going on, but like you have got to like," and I accidentally said, "Calm down."
Oh, that's
I was like, "You've got to calm down. I'm not sure what's going on, but like, how can I help you? How can we make this right or something?" And she's screaming at me about, and she's like, got my film, and she got my face on camera. And I was like, "All right, listen, this is private property, and if you're gonna be like this, I have to ask you to leave." She's like, "I'm private property." I'm like,
Did she really?
She did.
I
She
missed
said that
all
like 3 or 4
this.
times. She's like, "I'm private property." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's fine, but you're standing on my property, and I need you to leave because people are uncomfortable." And she's like, "I'm not going anywhere." And I was like, "All right, well, are you sure about that?" She's like, "I'm not going nowhere." And I was like, "All right, well, since you're not going anywhere, I'm going to call the police so they can witness what's going on." She's like, "Good, call the police. I want you to call them. I'm going to be here when they get here, and I'm going to tell them all the stuff that you're doing." And I'm like, "Okay." So I didn't have my phone. I left it in the building, so I had to walk back in the building. And so she jumps in front of me as I'm walking back to the building, and she's filming me and videoing me or picturing me or something. And she's like, "I hope you do call." I was like, "Well, I'm walking in to call them right now." And as soon as I said that, she shoves me.
Oh, what?
Like literally, like she shoved me. Now, like I said, she weighed like 110 pounds, so I didn't go anywhere. She kind of, when she shoved me, she went back, right?
Yeah.
And like I was kind of taken back, but like I don't know, it didn't phase me. But as I'm walking in, my heart rate, when I got inside the building, my heart rate like went through the freaking roof.
And the client was in the building by now. Just
Yeah,
she made it in.
so like literally my heart rate, I guess the adrenaline flow hit me, and I was like, "Did that chick just push me?"
Yeah.
And so I tried to stay calm. I walked in, I got my phone, I called the police or whatever, and I was telling them the situation, and I was walking back outside, and she was gone. She burned out or whatever. She had to be on something, like just the way she was acting and the way she was talking, like she was not in her right mind or what have you. And so the police showed up, and I gave her description. I had whatever information I had to give them. But like, insane, dude.
If you give it about a week or so, we might see you're on a Karen, on a male Karen website or something, like circulating social media.
Like with some fake
This
story.
man tried to harass me.
This man tried to do it, and then he tried to call the police on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things that are like, we're not getting the full context.
Maybe it'll
here.
go viral.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll go
And
viral.
then they'll see our logo in the background.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I should go to that gym.
Tag
They say there is no bad publicity.
tag running with James if you're out there, belly dancer.
If you're listening to the podcast right now, crazy lady, please make sure tag at Running with James, at BC Coach James, and my BC Fit.
And don't take whatever you take again. Don't do that again.
I mean,
Please don't.
if your video goes viral, whatever. I'm trying to get exposure for BC Fitness, so whatever it
Yeah,
takes.
no bad publicity.
No bad publicity. So yeah, it was a little crazy, and like I don't even know. Like, I don't know. Honestly, I was very surprised at how I handled it
Interesting for a Wednesday.
and how calm I was.
That's almost like shocking. You know, the whole situation probably just like took a second. Like, did that just really happen?
Yeah, because like in hindsight, I'm like, man, I wish I had my phone on me. Because when she started filming me, I could have been like, oh, I'm filming you now. Because like my
That never
sarcastic,
goes well.
my sarcastic, funny side would have taken over, and it probably wouldn't help the situation. I think the
No.
Lord was working on me. He was the Holy Spirit was calming me and keeping me in control. So I mean, I honestly wanted to try to help the lady if I could, if she needed help, but. You know, I almost wonder if like maybe my client had accidentally like cut her off or something earlier on, and this lady just chased her down.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
followed
wondered
her.
too.
But because she was on something. She was definitely on something, and she was tweaking. So, but yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah, like it could have been any reason of she just passed her up, or you know, it's
Or looked at her funny on the road.
yes,
Or whatever. Because she came in and parked, and she came in after her.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That lady's never been here before. I've never seen her on this property. She had zero reason to be here, and she came in and parked right next to her, and then got out and started yelling at her.
She said it was like a couple minutes after she got in the
That's
parking
what she
lot.
said.
She
That's
was
what
like,
I'm saying. She could have
yeah.
tried to catch up to her.
Yeah.
Stopped at a light, right? If you're
Yeah.
turning.
Did you let her know first class free?
I didn't think about it.
Man,
what
pedal
I'm
your,
saying, hindsight's always 20/20.
pedal your wares, man.
Oh, you
Pedal
gotta
your
put
wares.
Coach Carlos will give you a stretch and restore first session for free.
Now, half
Maybe
off.
that'll-
Half off.
You're only getting a 15-minute
Yeah,
session, crazy
15,
lady.
yeah.
So whatever ails you, he'll help you.
Yeah. Yes. Coach Lauren has a great ERG class on
Yes.
Wednesday.
oh my
That's
gosh,
it.
yeah. Well, we'll put all that energy to good use.
Yeah. I don't know
Fabulous.
I don't know what Lauren would have done.
I
Honestly,
I was
think,
in the building. I'm really disappointed I missed it.
I think Lauren would have walked out and just been standing on the inside of the building, staring at me through the window.
No, I would have been
Oh,
out
this
there
lady
watching
punches
you.
this guy in the face.
No, that is not true. That is definitely not true.
Please punch this guy in the face. Please.
No,
One.
you know what I would have said? I was like, man, I wish I'd been out there so she could have pushed me and I could have punched her in the face.
Oh God.
That'd have been my chance.
No.
That would have been my chance for Fight
She would
Club.
have shoved you. You would have been. I don't even know what you would have done, but I can guarantee that the response would not have been, "I'm going to get into a fight."
Maybe. Who knows?
We're gonna go back. We're circling back to the tough Lauren.
Yes, tough Lauren.
No.
There she
Okay.
comes.
Here she comes. She's
Yeah.
always living in here a little bit.
Okay, no, I'm
You
not-
want to be tough so bad.
I do. Really.
You want to be tough so
That's-
bad.
Fake it till you make it, people. Fake it till you make it.
We should have listeners call in. Do they think Lauren is tough?
Yeah,
Or like messaged, is Lauren tough? Yes or
Exactly.
no? Have a poll.
yeah. We should.
Yeah.
Actually, you should take a picture. We should take two pictures. One of this Lauren right here, sitting here. This is the picture right here that I want. That look right there. And then one of your toughest look, right?
Not very good.
And then put both pictures up and
not
then
good.
say, does this look like a chick that would fight you? And that's all. That's the only
I don't
question.
think I don't think I have the stamina to like handle the commentary. It would be very hurtful.
You don't, no, we just want yes or no. We don't
No,
want comments.
it would
We
be-
can't- you couldn't handle the comments.
Okay, I mean, do I think I'm tough? Like when I say tough, like let's set the bar. This is tough.
Okay.
Could you survive in prison? That's what I'm saying.
Female
I know
prison or men's prison?
for you, female.
Neither one. For
No,
sure
I-
not men's prison. What the heck? Why did that even come up? Why would that even be?
But look, I feel like in
All those
prison though,
single guys.
I'm like, but in prison, all you have to do is you have to like start a strong female, strong female group of
You
based
realize
on
prison's
feelings.
not like
you're
this,
not
right?
you're not forming the Spice
Yeah,
Girls
this
when you
is
go in
not-
there.
This is not cheer camp.
Maybe
It's not cheer camp where you pass the spirit stick.
See,
everything's an opportunity.
I have watched a prison documentary, and they talk about some of the stuff.
I saw a trailer for Orange is the New Black. I know what's up.
I don't think it's going to be anything like that, young lady.
So I know for a fact I am not built for prison.
I'm not built for prison.
Yes,
I've been to prison
Get hard.
I-
or jail.
So I am not built for prison.
I was so nervous.
Yeah. So I'm just
My butt was so tight.
yes.
I was clenched. I didn't turn my back to anybody. There were a lot of
Sat in a
big,
corner.
big people in there too.
Exactly.
I didn't have a chance. I was pretty. Oh my God, no.
Lauren, I want you to go home, watch the show Scared Straight.
Oh yeah.
Just look it up on YouTube. It's where they take wayward kids and they bring them to the prison.
We've talked about this
Yes.
before.
So I think that I want you to watch one episode, and then I want you to speak. Could I make it in there?
Yeah, Carlos does not strike me as the kind of guy I would think of like he's. I wouldn't think of him like he's not a tough guy. Like he's not the kind of guy to start some stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's not how I think of when I think of Carlos.
I don't want.
But if some stuff got started,
Oh, Carlos
I
could
think
finish
Carlos
it.
could handle himself.
You could finish it.
I feel like Carlos would like try to do everything he could to like calm the situation. Like, not he wouldn't want. But if cuffs started getting thrown, fisticuffs, I feel like, he would be okay.
would you like to hear a good story?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna let this out there.
Let it go.
So, okay, on my 20-year reunion for high school.
20-year reunion.
Yes.
So y'all are all adults.
Adults.
Okay.
Yeah, adults here.
Let's preface this.
Okay, preface this. So
Okay.
we went out to a bar downtown. That's where they had it. So we were there. Had a good time. End of the night. We were getting our keys at the valet. Valet lost our keys.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there and we're waiting. Hey, where our keys are at. Nothing. They're like looking around. They can't find them. And I'm sitting there by the valet, and I can sometimes be a little bit of a smart ass.
What
And
you
I'm just saying,
know.
just picture it. But then picture it. As we're sitting there, someone gets their keys. It was a female, and the guy gives her the wrong change. And she's like, "You gave me the wrong change, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, well, at least that's all they did. They lost my keys. And the valet guy got upset. He's like, "You get out of here." And I was like, "No, I'm waiting for my keys." And I was fine. And then he comes up and starts pushing me out.
Really?
Yeah.
With his hands?
Yes, like
Oh, he
pushing
put hands on you.
Yeah,
Okay.
put hands on me. So it was like, gave him a push. He pushed me. I just sat there. He kept pushing me. And then finally, I just kind of, Gabby was right there. And I was like, all right, that's the last 3 strikes. And then I didn't punch him. I just took him to the ground, grabbed him and threw him on the ground.
Oh,
And
okay.
that was it. And
Yeah.
what Gabby did after that, I don't know.
Well,
Gabby got
the
involved.
person I would have been most concerned with is Gabby.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Like, she had a hidden shiv or something somewhere.
said that to
started like
her.
shaking the guy.
Yeah, she might have with her high heels. So
I made a
I'm not going to confirm or deny what happened after that, but just say.
I made a joke to Gabby about like her like keeping like a shiv or something, and she's like, "Why does everyone think I'm like this super aggressive gang person?" I was like, "Have you met you in the morning? Have you looked in the mirror and like talked to yourself? You could be scary sometimes. I believe it."
Because
I
she's
think
been
Gabby
banned
could
from
fight.
more things in my short time of knowing her than anybody I've ever met
I
in
mean,
my entire life.
Gabby sounded like she almost started to fight in another country.
This is true.
Oh yeah, there is a track record.
There is
I'm
a-
not. I'm not.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
Love you,
that
Gabby.
I told her the other day, if it quacks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it might be willing to get into a fight with
It's not a
everybody.
turtle.
Actually, I am going on the record. I'm changing my mind on something. I am tough. I have.
You live with her.
I have. Never mind. I am tough.
You're a
I just realized this.
you're a
So-
As we talk
survivor.
right now, I'm actually, because I don't consider myself a tough guy either.
Yeah.
And I'm not like someone who would want to start a fight. In fact, I would do everything I possibly could to like try to calm the situation.
Yes.
But I also feel like, in any situation, I'm not going to back down if it means, harm to someone else
Mhm.
or if somebody, say, shoves me, right? But as we talk right now, I'm hoping that Gabby doesn't listen to this episode because I'm actually thinking about how fearful I am of what the consequences might be for you and for me when she sees me. Like, she might punch me. I don't know. You might get your wish.
I don't. Yes, if you decide to punch James, Gabby, let Lauren know ahead of time.
So
I
she
can
can be
be
there
there.
to watch it.
She will be
I
there.
gotta
Watch
let-
it. Yes,
I
she'll
gotta-
watch
Watch it on replay.
I gotta set up the lighting.
Oh, yes.
Gotta get the lighting right.
Hold on. Okay, right here. Gabby, he's going to be right over there.
Uh-huh.
Yes. No, I don't think, no, you'll probably just get a lot of yelling. She's loud.
Yeah, she can be.
A little bit.
She can be.
So, it'll
But,
definitely.
I think wives they get loud.
But I feel like Gabby.
My wife is pretty loud, too.
Is she?
Yeah.
I feel like
Okay.
Gabby might also switch yelling to Spanish, which she can get really like.
Yeah, but she knows I don't speak
Yeah, I was gonna say it
Spanish.
can get really aggressive. You don't know what she's saying
She
then.
might yell to someone else about
But
me.
you got to. That's just the language. Sometimes I think Gabby is fighting with her mom on the phone. They're just talking.
They're just
It's
talking.
it's
not a fight.
It's a scream
Yes.
of this. It's like, is everything okay? Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go see her.
Yeah.
Tuesday. Okay.
We just talk loud. That's
yeah,
just how it is.
that's just how it is.
Well, I think to the point that I was trying to get to, that he's not starting a fight. He's not an aggressive guy.
No.
But he could hold his own. I feel, and I could be 100% incorrect, I feel the same way about myself. I don't feel like I would back down. I feel like, unfortunately, and you're a lady, so you have permission to do this. I feel like it's not like a necessity for you. But I feel like if something happened, and you can make whatever face you want,
I'm trying to wait. I'm waiting to.
I feel like you want people to think you're a tough gal,
Mhm.
and you would you'd ready to throw cuffs. But I feel like if the moment presented itself, you would probably either run or
Would
get
never.
into the fetal position. Those would be the two options. I don't think fighting would be.
I don't think fetal position. I'm gonna say even if I didn't throw hands, I don't think I would do fetal position. I don't think I'd run.
I seem to remember.
May I interject?
Okay,
Hey,
no,
yes.
man in the woods does not count.
No.
Yeah.
I remember this was probably you tried to take down James in
That
a
was fetal
wrestling
position, actually,
and you were
yes.
literally in the fetal position around his leg
I was trying to take him down at the ankles.
by tripping him, by laying on the ground.
Look, my tactic did not work the way it worked on another person.
But you were technically in the fetal position.
Let me just. If the occasion, not I'm gonna say occasion because I don't want to go looking for it, but if the scenario happened where I got pushed or someone got in my face and I decked him, would you be mad at me? Would I have your blessing to deck him back? I need to know.
First of all, you didn't say they decked you. You said if something got in your face, then you decked them.
If someone stroked the bear and baby bear got a little angry.
You mean poke the bear, not stroke the bear. Let's watch
This is
the
a family
wording.
show, please, man. This is a family show.
Phrasing, please.
If someone poked the bear,
I mean, if someone's stroking the bear, I don't know. I may.
That could be a fight.
I don't know. I don't
If
know.
baby bear
we might
got-
fight. We might not. I don't know.
if baby bear got angry, do I have your blessing to fight back, or would you get
Sure.
really mad at me?
No, I would not be mad at
Perfect.
you.
That's all
would
I need to
be-
know. As
I would
long
be utterly amazed.
Okay.
You would blow my mind.
So if Lady in Red shows back up, I'm allowed to deck her if she puts hands on me.
Go for it.
Okay,
Dave.
good. As long as I have the blessing.
I don't think there's any chance in hell.
No, I don't
Got
think
me
she.
saying
I just want to know I just want to know what, as like your employee and your friend, where are my boundaries?
I want you to know
supposed
something.
be?
I'm going to say this for everybody to hear me. Okay, Lauren. There's nothing you could do.
Basically, another Patreon episode.
There's nothing that you could do that would ever make me not care about you.
Well, that's not what I
Or
said.
would ever make a situation where I would not like have your back
Okay.
or forgive you or stop caring about you. There's nothing you could do.
Okay.
Nothing at all. No matter how bad it is.
Now
matter how
now
bad
we're
it
gonna
is.
test this.
That's what I'm telling you. There's nothing that you could do.
Okay.
Would I be disappointed in some things? Yes. Would I try to encourage you or discourage you from doing certain things? Yes. But much like the Lord, my mercy and grace for you is never ending.
That's all I need to know.
Because the Lord has forgiven me of so much. How can I possibly not be willing to forgive you?
Okay. Perfect.
That was very caring.
That was very caring.
And Lauren winced the whole time.
I know.
It was like
She was very uncomfortable.
very words of affirmation.
Kindness, words of affirmation.
We love you, Lauren.
I love y'all too. Thank you
Well,
so much.
much like your invisible sense of bravado, there's also what we call the invisible race season, which is what's going on right now. And
We got there
much
eventually.
like people can't see this mighty, mighty warrior that you are, right now, I think people are, we're in between seasons. The race season is done. We've got what? 3 months, 4 months till the next actual event, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well,
months.
like until what? High Rocks? It's 6.
So whatever
months.
next race,
Oh, if we're doing DECA, that's like 3 months.
3 or 4 months,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, this is the part of the season I think that nobody really posts about, talks about, because it's,
Everyone's
It's
off
the off
season. Everyone's like doing their own thing. They're vacationing. They're eating whatever they want. They're sleeping in. They're not going outside because it's hot.
yeah. And so a lot of people are like, okay, it's my break time, it's my rest time, it's my recovery time, it's my off season. But I think what a lot of people, or the things that maybe separate those people who do things like what we do for fun or do it to level up, is that this is probably the most important time of your training, right? This is where like the toughness is built. This is where like your habits are solidified. And so, there's a quote that says champions are made when nobody's watching.
Yep.
So this is the time. Summer, summer, summertime. This is the time to develop discipline
Yep.
over motivation.
Mm-hmm. This is like where your foundation of prep work
Yeah.
really starts.
People are always, when are we usually the busiest? Like
Holidays.
classes, and when the classes are going on, when normally we have the biggest classes? When
Oh,
do you usually
like
find it?
2 to 3 months right before the
This
competition.
is that month of the race.
The month
Or
of
the
race.
month of,
We
yeah.
were just talking about the High Rocks Run Club. We were actually kind of like, this is kind of nice how big it is.
Yeah.
Usually this is just the month of the High Rocks is when it gets that big. But
Yeah.
I think people are listening.
Yeah, no, for sure. So that's nice to see people. Like, I think people are heavily engaged right now because of, kind of where they came from, their progressions or what they experienced. And now they're like, okay, you know what? If I'm going to do what it is that I want to do, now's the time where I start working on it.
Especially with kind of like the stuff we do, like endurance wise, you can't cram fitness.
You can't.
No.
You can't. You can't cram for the test. You have to start prepping early. And really establishing those, I think the habits is the word, right? So I think people get super motivated when an event's really close. And I think that's why so many of the events are, or so many of our classes are full a month out or 2 weeks before, because people are hyped up and they're like, I got to do this. I can't tell you how many people, like a month before a marathon or half marathon, are like, have had contact me and say, hey, can you help me for this race? And I'm like, well, I'm going to do my best, but you should have started like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Right. And so, people get super motivated, but I think what I would try to encourage and teach people is the importance of establishing discipline over the motivation, because motivation is
Fleeting.
it's very fleeting. Right. Whereas discipline is something that obviously you have to develop, but once you develop the habit of that discipline, then it can lead past the fleeting motivation and help you develop whatever it is you really want to do.
Facts.
100%.
Well, here's a question I have for you, Lauren.
For me,
Yes.
lucky.
Here's a question I have for you. Yes, you're super lucky. Why do you race?
Multiple reasons. I love the community. I like pushing myself, and I like when I can improve every time.
Okay. So when you're training specifically for a particular event.
Sure.
Correct? All right. So in the training, why do you train?
So that I can get to the event and not be caught off guard and basically know what to expect.
Okay. Carlos, what about you? Why do you race? What's your why?
Test myself.
Okay.
I love the race. I mean, actually, I love the training.
Yeah.
I love especially the training for high rocks, kind of the hybrid running, lifting. That is just something I love. I've always loved, and then kind of I've always loved lifting weights since I was younger, but then kind of becoming a runner these last 8-9 years. It's kind of the combination of them both is just what I love.
Okay. So in the training, what do you find is the most, what is it that you find that you get the most out of in the training? Is it physical fitness? Is it your ability to perform at an event?
I'm thinking what I get out of the most is
Like, what do you enjoy about it the most, I guess? Or what
building
do you feel like
building the
results?
fitness.
Okay.
Building the fitness, knowing, seeing the changes that it does to your body.
Okay.
I enjoy seeing, okay, I'm being able to run faster. I'm able to, I really enjoy the science behind it. I've been training under you for years now, and, I'm always asking questions. Hey,
Right.
why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And it's not to question you, because I'm learning it myself. I find it just amazing how the body adapts.
Yeah.
If you start lifting a little bit heavier, you put on a little bit more muscle, start running. It is, I really love the science behind it, and just, how to do these adaptations, running these blocks. That's what I really love. And then kind of, making this like the, almost like putting together a puzzle.
Okay. Yeah.
Like you're putting together a puzzle for this race. Like kind of we've talked about before. There is no, one set way to do high rocks.
Right.
Everyone's, someone's aerobic conditioning could be better or weaker. So it's nice just programming for yourself or for another client or someone is finding that right puzzle of fitness for it of any race. That's what I really enjoy.
Okay. So then in that, right, so these are all the benefits that you feel like you've gotten from it.
Okay.
When you first started, when you first got into it, what do you feel like was the most difficult part about developing like the habits or the disciplines? I mean, obviously you had something that you were training for, right? So it was like Spartan or something like that, right?
Yeah.
You wanted to be better, right? But what was it that you found to be the most challenging portion of, making it a consistent thing? Because I assume in the beginning, even you worked out, right? And you did stuff, but you probably wasn't like, was it super consistent? You worked out the same time every week, every day? What?
It was, I would say, the hardest part was kind of not really being structured.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I was kind of going out there and just throwing stuff together.
Okay.
Kind of before I really started run training with you. Like the biggest part, I was like, I'm going to go kick butt in Spartan.
Okay.
And I'd go out there and just horrible.
Right.
Just I couldn't run.
I said these words.
I was like, I'm a runner. I'm running 8 miles a week. Watch out.
Yeah.
And then you get out there and you get your butt kicked, and it's like, okay, that's when I kind of made the decision of this isn't working. This isn't fun. Doing a couple races and not really improving. So that was kind of real. This is not what I like training, but just not knowing what I was doing.
Gotcha.
So that's why I kind of found you.
Okay.
So
then in the development, I guess it helped drastically with staying consistent when you started seeing the results. Is that what it was, or was it like you just enjoyed the
the consistency came from seeing the results.
Okay.
As my fitness improving, being able to run faster, being able to all of a sudden I'm doing 15, 20 miles a week, and I'm not getting tired.
Okay.
I'm not running hard every time. Okay. It's like it was seeing the changes in my body.
Okay.
I was getting leaner just from putting on more muscle. Those are all great satisfaction. Getting the I guess those feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Of the fitness, and then the physical changes. That was really kind of kept me motivated.
I got you. Okay. So Lauren, what about you? So obviously, I think maybe I'm probably somewhere in between the both of you. I think a little bit. So where he really enjoys the training, and he likes racing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get him wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like for you, the races are more. You enjoy those more than you do the training. Or maybe you put more emphasis on those in the training.
I think I put more emphasis. I do love the training because I like working with people. I guess I also wouldn't think I do enjoy about the training is I like being in a familiar and controlled environment. Not that especially at High Rocks or something, those aren't controlled environments, but I like being in a very familiar surrounding that I'm in very frequently. So I think there is definitely I know exactly what to expect from the space I'm in. So there is definitely a comfort. But yeah, I do put a lot of emphasis on the events because I am super driven by the people there. I love the energy. I love seeing all the friends, the people I don't get to see often. I love hearing the cheers and I love cheering for people. So I think that aspect of it really feeds me. But the training is also a lot of fun for me.
So how do you survive knowing that you're not going to be fed for the next 4 months?
What? Fed? What?
Didn't she just say the races feed me?
Yeah.
Those were your exact words.
Oh, well, I'm signing up for little small races.
Okay.
And again, the training, still trying to train, even though we're not maybe doing the certain trainings that we used to all do together. I'm still I went to his house today and we did some heavyweight stuff, or I signed up for another DECA this weekend. So little bitty things. And that's what I told him earlier. Little bitty things like that, they keep me dialed in because they give me very specific things to kind of keep focusing on, and they do kind of keep me mentally engaged. Mm-hmm. So I do sign up for little bitty things, but I might just not put as much skin on them. So if I sign up for a DECA, it's not as stressful to me. I'm not going to worry about it if I don't hit a PR or.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think for me, I like the races for sure, but for me, I like the races more about seeing other people perform well. Right. So for me, it's from the perspective of a coach more than anything else. But I really the training for me is the most enjoyable portion of it. And for me, the habit of training is definitely part of my life. Obviously, it's a big part of my life, but it is still very challenging, because some days I don't feel like working out. Some days I don't feel like running. Some days, right now, I told y'all earlier, I'm probably more motivated to train and be engaged than I have been in a long time because I'm not in Chicago. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm really salty about that. I can't even look at it. I've been off of Instagram.
Probably
every
a good
time
idea.
I get on, that's all I see,
It's like seeing that, your ex-girlfriend with your Letterman jacket.
Exactly. If I saw her walking around with my Letterman jacket, you were bringing that up, bro. You love that so much. What the crud? But yes, it's exactly like that. And so I don't think I've been this motivated as maybe the closest thing I can is when I was a Ninja Warrior, and I couldn't make one season because I ruptured my Achilles, and I felt like I was in the best shape I'd ever been in. I have never been this motivated before, and I'm just hungry to race, So which is great because this is kind of a downtime. This is the time when you really want to like take a break, but like this is the time that we're establishing the new foundation for the next season. And so there's no greater time right now because we have the longest amount of back-to-back time to put together some blocks to build up upon, right? And so anything new you want to build in, any kind of, new fitness or new training cycle or a new implementation of like a discipline, this is the time to do it because you actually have the time to do it. You're not trying to like finagle recovery and tapering and all that other stuff. But the thing is I guarantee in about a month, that same level of motivation is not going to be there.
Once the noise from the world goes down. In July, nothing really happening.
It's just hot.
I can
really
guarantee
hot.
the motivation is going to come down, and then like the discomfort of the heat, the discomfort of like pushing hard, is going to overtake the motivation of being amazing, and that motivation of being a world champion is not going to come back again until like the week of November or when the next race is. Does that make sense?
No. Like there's some tough summer days, especially for the Sunday workouts when it's hot.
Yeah.
And we, like I said, there's no race on,
You're like, I can skip.
Yeah, absolutely. You hear that voice.
Really
it's
easy.
going to, you're walking out there, you're feeling yourself just cooking.
Yeah.
You haven't even done the workout yet. And especially when we start implementing the high rocks movements, and those get to be, very hard workouts.
They can be, right? So, that's the thing is like, for me, what I use the training and other people like as, my motivation in the interim. So I find small ways to get motivated in between, right? So, like say, we'll use Sunday as an example, right? So we're training we're kind of doing these groups, these pace groups and stuff. So like Sunday is almost like a little mini, like not a race because we're not trying to beat each other. We're trying to be consistent, but like the goal is to be the most consistent person.
Yeah.
Right. When we're out there running and it's my turn to lead, I want to be more consistent than any of the other guys, right? I want to be the one that like is not having like too hot, James. We got to slow down, right? And so like that's kind of like my challenge. And so like if I do 2 or 3 laps and my laps are the most consistent, well, obviously I'm better than y'all.
False. Because we help pace you. No, I'm kidding. No, we actually, I just showed a client our laps that, a lot that you led and Tommy as well.
Yeah.
And me. Maybe not as many, but I led one, I think.
He's like, I got 1 or 2 in.
But we were kind of talking about the 400s, and they were like, oh, I felt good. I could have gone faster. Let me see your times. Mm-hmm. They were like 9 seconds faster, 9 seconds slower. I was like, okay, that's not really the point of the work. Yes, I want you running fast, but as James said, it's about pacing out there. So I pulled up our numbers, 126.3, 126.9, 126.6. I was like, this is how, and I told her, I was like, that wasn't just me.
Right.
It was obviously a veteran group who've been out there running, and that's not what I expect your first time, but that is the goal of the run. So having those challenges, like you said, during the workouts of a way to fine-tune, like I said, mini races or competitions.
Well, what you're doing is you're creating like these micro goals, and you're giving yourself little wins to celebrate over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And those little wins eventually, at the end, once the race season starts, become big wins, I feel like.
Yeah.
And kind of just going back to what you said, how do we build these habits? How you practice and train is how you're going to race.
Right.
Yeah.
If you go out too hot and you're out of control, that's how you're going to race.
Yeah.
There's no magic switch of all of a sudden come race time.
You're going to calm down.
I'm going to be, hitting my laps perfectly. If you're not, or if you're lackadaisical, not paying attention, that's how you're going to race.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there is no magic switch that just all of a sudden clicks at come race day.
Right. It's just like you said, when you were talking about the Spartan stuff, you're like, you're going to go out and you're just going to crush this race.
That's it.
Well, just because you say you're going to do something. Well, I do think you have to put things out into existence, right? You have to say things. You have to, before you're going to believe it, you got to kind of say it, right? But just saying it and not putting like the work in to meet that expectation is kind of like dumb.
A false sense of kind of confidence.
Delusion.
Yeah, delusion.
Yeah.
Well, big part of the world.
It is. So, but I think this is like the perfect time to establish that. So it's really very encouraging and exciting to see such a large group of people, coming out on Sundays and Saturdays and stuff to kind of establish that, because I've seen it so many times. We've seen it over the years. Yeah. Like when the season ends, like people disappear.
We just don't, like, suddenly the classes all like dwindle down to like 4, and we're like, where'd everybody go?
Yeah.
And they're like,
stop
oh, well,
training.
I'm just, going to take a break until like August. I'm like, why?
Yeah, I'm breaking. I'm vacationing with my family and stuff. And so I think people are starting to understand. And that's what my goal is for BC Fitness is that, I've always wanted to create this environment where everyone felt like they could be elite. And I know that word elite just sounds like so
Elitist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, and so many people come in.
It doesn't sound as inclusive.
It doesn't, right? But I honestly believe that, yes, there are different levels of elite as well, right? And I do believe that some people just have genetic gifts and they have, higher VO2 maxes and they have, greater, lactate thresholds just like naturally because of their genetics.
Long lungs.
Long lungs, right? Or
you know who you
they've
are.
been training longer enough that, those adaptations have had enough time to happen in their life. But I think the biggest thing that separates the regular person from like the elite athlete is strictly consistency, volume, and having like an actual plan, like actually integrated into their daily routines. That's the biggest thing I've just seen it happen so many times. I think Larry is a perfect example. This dude didn't run. He wasn't like doing a ton of whatever. You guys should check out his first YouTube. He's doing this kind of documentary of his race for 250 in the half marathon,
Chicago,
or the
right?
Marathon for Chicago, yeah, and in the full marathon. And so he talks a little bit about like how much weight he's lost, and he started to run, and like his first marathon I think was like close to 4 hours, like 3:40, 4 hours, something like that, if I remember correctly.
And it was like 2 years ago?
Yeah, that wasn't even that long.
That was not that long.
4 years.
2 years is a very short time.
No, like during
4 years
COVID.
ago. It was during COVID when it came out, right?
Okay,
21,
4 years.
22, something
Still.
like that. So, from that to where he's at today, like people look at him and they're seeing him run his paces and they're seeing how fast he is, and people are like, man, he's an athlete, he's gifted, and that's just who he is. But he's putting in 75 miles a week.
No, it's yeah.
He's doing double threshold days.
I was gonna say
he's getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. He's got his macros. He's hitting his nutrition every single day. So his level of commitment and his habits and his discipline are far exceeding above the majority of everybody else. And so it's not because he's just a great athlete. Yes, he is a great athlete, but he's developed all these habits, and he's gone from someone who just seemed like a normal person to now he's like way above average.
Remember when we did the recovery clinic? Who ordered a bunch of stuff? The rumble rollers and all that. Larry did.
Yeah,
he has one of those.
Takes it very seriously.
Yeah, that's
He's
what
invested.
Yeah, it's not just the running. It's the whole, like I said, the macros, the recovery. It's all those little things.
It's all the little things
that add up.
Yeah,
to get into that elite level. I mean, that motivated me watching that YouTube, the first episode.
Yeah,
I did not know anything about. I've talked to Larry many times, but I did not know that he was just a guy trying to lose weight.
Yeah,
I thought he was been running since he was
college.
Yes, and he's
right?
just a beast since then. I was just like, it motivated me.
And that's my point. Is simply this: is that's what I wanted people to understand about like what we change your mind, change your life. Is that everybody can have some level of elite level athleticism, and it may be different for everyone. But if you go out there today and you can run one lap, and you got to start walking. Well, if in 6 months you can run a 5K in 26 minutes, you've just increased your level of elite level athleticism by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Right? If you go out and run a marathon a year later, well, you've just become greater than you ever were, athletically speaking. And that can just be the tip of the iceberg because you're just getting started. So everybody can get stronger. Everybody can get faster. It just depends on how much commitment, how much time, how much volume.
Yeah.
How dedicated do you want to be? And I think that's the biggest difference between, where you end up going in your overall athletic abilities is how committed, and that's how it is in life and everything. How committed are you? And how much are you willing to sacrifice, I guess?
And I think, and so we've all experienced burnout from seasons. Like you can get very tired at the end of the season, depending on how many races you've done. I think that's a very real thing. I don't think there's any harm if you want to take a little bit of a break, but I think it has to be like anything else. You have to schedule it. You can't just like say, oh, I'm just going to take a break until I feel like it. No, you say, I'm going to give myself 2 weeks off, and I'm just going to, like you tell people when they are doing recovery, run when you feel like running. Don't run if you don't feel like running. If you want to do lighter workouts and focus on form, less weight, go for it. Don't stress it, but you have to make it a scheduled thing. Because otherwise, it's too easy for it to just be ongoing. And then
2
here we
weeks
are.
turn into a month.
2 weeks turn into
Yeah.
a month, 2 months, and then here we are. We're in like August, September, and you've got way less time, and you've lost so much time to be gaining that fitness.
Right. Well, and I think for me, I think the greatest gift that you end up giving yourself is the gift of new habits and of discipline, right? So I think for so many people, you know, there are certain words that are like somewhat like cuss words, like submit, right? When you women hear the word submit,
Hate
it's like, oh my God. You know, discipline is another one of those bad words that people hear. But what people don't understand is that there's so much freedom when you understand the beauty of discipline or of submission, because like you take a lot of pressure off of yourself. And so in discipline, there's freedom because you're now not a slave to how you feel. You're not a slave to a situation, right? Because the discipline you've developed allows you to overcome whatever challenge comes up.
Mhm.
So, you know, whatever it may be, right? So for me, you know, I have developed certain disciplines in my life, and those disciplines in my life, honestly, were developed because I had a weakness in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So there was something that I was very bad at, or it was something that caused me, I don't want to say pain, but it was something that caused me to go down the path I didn't want to go down.
Okay.
And so laziness, right, or watching too much TV or playing video games, whatever. And so I started slowly but surely developing a discipline by bringing accountability in my life, you know, or, perfect example, Sunday track workouts. I wanted to start running. I hated running. And I wanted to be better at OCR, at obstacle course racing. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start going to the track on Sundays, and I'm going to start doing workouts. I'm probably not going to show up every Sunday. I need to tell people I'm going to the track. And so I don't want to go alone and suffer, so I'm going to have people go with me and suffer. And so
I'm going to lead them to suffering.
I would tell people, I would say, hey, track workout this Sunday, anyone to come? And so I would tell people about it. And because I'm a firm believer in like following on what you say, I would show up because people might be there. And I didn't want people to like show up and me not be there.
Yeah.
And so I established that I was going to be there on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So I started showing up every Sunday. Sometimes people showed up, sometimes people didn't, but it didn't matter because I was there, right? I have a picture of it was Sunday in the middle of like February or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was raining and it was like 25 degrees outside. And there's me and these two other ladies that were out there. And like I did not want to show up because it was cold. I was tired. It was Sunday afternoon, right? And it gets darker earlier, so that also means we were starting earlier, And I did not want to go. I was like, you know what? I gotta go because I bet you somebody's gonna show up. I was like, nobody's showing up today. I was like, somebody's probably gonna show up. And I went, and 2 people showed up. And so we did the workout. We ran, we did everything, whatever. And we took this little selfie of each other. And if it hadn't been for that, I wouldn't have been there. And so there are so many times because of my personality, there are things I don't want to do, but I do them because I'm committed or I have accountability. Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to be there for me, right?
So you put in like little fail safes for you.
Exactly.
For those bad
That's my
habits,
accountability.
it's your fail safe of, okay, I've let people know I have to be there.
Yeah.
Even if, like that little Sunday afternoon gremlin starts to get in your ear, sure be nice just to kind of relax.
Well, Tuesday, perfect. Remember I told you Tuesday. I've been up since like 4:00 in the morning. I had a class. I had 2 clients, and I worked out that morning. And I had clients and classes all day long. And I left my last class, and I was headed toward Memorial Park for the High Rocks Run Club.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, dude, I'm so tired. I just want to go home. I was like, it's been such a long day, and I got to get up early tomorrow. I got an appointment in the morning. I was like, dude, I'm just gonna go home. I was like, nobody's gonna show up. I was like, man, somebody's probably going to show up. And then I got a text, I think either from you or Gabby, saying that Gabby was going to be there.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I know they're going to be there. I better show up, right? I don't want to be that guy.
If you did not show up, I would have taken over. I would tell her.
I know you would have.
I'm
glad I did.
I would have told
Peddling his wares.
I would know how you
I would
are.
have peddled my wares like, James doesn't love you guys.
I know.
I'm here.
I know.
And it was my first time.
5-star reviews only for Carlos. I know. I'm so glad I showed up because Carlos was there, and I was like, this fool would have been. Oh.
Coach Carlos was amazing. Made the Run Club so much fun.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That
I would have never heard the end of it. So, but the reason I do those things is because I know that that'll be my reason for showing up every single time. you
Yeah.
know? So it's helped me develop the discipline and the habit over and over and over again. So I think like this is the perfect season, the time of the year where you can start figuring out ways to, overcome your weaknesses, turn those weaknesses into a strength. I was talking to one of my other athletes, Arturo. We were working out on Tuesday, and he was talking about the wall balls and the workout. It was a tough workout we were doing and everything, and he was like, "Man, dude, you're making it look so easy." And in my heart, I didn't feel like I was making it look easy. I was like, I'm sweating, bro, and I'm hurting, and but I was doing all of them unbroken, and I was doing smooth and breathing and everything else. And I was like, dude, I want to explain something to you. You remember at the beginning of this season when I went to Toronto and I raced in Toronto, and now, obviously, I had someone who was deficient of the ability to count that was counting for me. And
We won't go back into the
they
whole story.
also don't know what a good rep looks like, obviously. But I was at the wall balls for 9 minutes.
That's such a long time.
9 freaking minutes,
A long
okay?
time.
When I got done with that, yes. Should I have been on there that long? No freaking way. But I determined in my heart that I would never let that happen again. So what did I do?
A lot of wall balls.
I did wall balls. I did heavy wall balls. I figured out ways to strengthen my legs, my core, the whole gambit, right? And then the next race, did much better. Then the next race, I did even better. And then the next race, I did even better. And now I feel like I've taken something that has been a weakness of mine since the very beginning of High Rocks, and now it's one of my strongest attributes. And so if getting in the miles is your weakness, well, figure out a way, whatever it is, through accountability, through a training program, whatever, to make running better. Get a coach that can help create a plan and hold you accountable. If you feel like the weakness is, lunges, or you feel like your weakness is, doing strength training 2 or 3 times a week, get a training partner, sign up for a class, do something that will help you develop that discipline now, so that when the season hits, it's no longer a weakness. Now it's one of your strengths.
I think that's great advice, because a lot of times people tend to just double down what they're good at.
Yeah.
Yep.
If they're great runners and they don't do any strength training, they're just going to continue running.
Because it's
and then-
comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable. They're great at it. It kind of it's hard at first, like James said, when to do something you're not good at.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, if you're really good, like on the skier, and all of a sudden I'm doing, like James said, lunges or whatever, strength training. I'm not as strong on deadlifts, and it's oh man, I should be deadlifting a lot more. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just going back to my doubling down on the erg work versus facing your, not demons, but your weakness.
Yes.
Just like you did. That is going to make you, like I said, a way better athlete by facing that challenge.
Yeah. And I think for me, and I'm going to give you guys a challenge here in a second, but I'm going to just say this, right? I think that I'm not like the kind of person about the universe and all that other, put it out there in the universe. But I will say that I am a firm believer in this, that you do have to speak things into existence. And part of speaking things into existence is that before you can ever believe something, or before you can ever do something, you have to believe it. Before you can ever start believing it, you got to start saying that you can do it. And so for me, like I am like I said, I am more motivated than I have been in a long time. And so, and there's little statements that people say. I say little people. I was thinking of Flo, but these people are saying these little digs,
Very petite people.
here and there, right? And so there was one time a few years ago where one of my athletes was talking about carbs and how they weren't good for you, and how they wouldn't eat carbs and they would make them fat and everything else. And so I told them they need more calories, they need to do this. And so I went on, I think about 2 months, where I just like ate whatever I wanted to. I definitely wasn't eating enough food, but I just ate whatever. And I put on probably a good 10 pounds of fat, so I looked about the way I look now. And so then I was like, all right, so here's what I'm going to do. I told them, I was like, so this is what I've done. Now I'm going to take the next 8 weeks and I'm going to eat this amount of calories. And it was way more food than I was eating. I'm going to eat this many carbs. And it was like 250, 300 grams of carbs, something crazy. It was a high number, right? Because of how, with this type of training, I'm going to do this, right? And we're going to see what happens. And so I've never done this before, but I did this for this client. And I took photos and I took pictures and the whole thing, right? And in 2 months, I looked completely different, and I'd lost like 3 or 4% body fat or something like that. And the point was I was motivated to show them that if you do this, this will work, right? Because they had told me forever that it would not work.
Carbs are the devil.
Carbs are the devil.
I love carbs.
Yeah. So I am motivated, man. I'm ready to go. And I hope that you are too. I hope that you guys are motivated too, because like November, December, January could be a completely different place for you. And it starts right now. And so I would challenge you. I'm challenging you right now to come up with some sort of goals, right? I'm giving you homework, right? I'm challenging you to set some sort of 4-week summer focus, right? Some sort of 4-week plan, whether it's, you're trying to get better at mobility, or, you want your squats to be better, or, you want to work on your pace, whatever it may be, and I want you to post some sort of pic, whether it's by yourself or, with someone else, a partner or something, doing that workout, doing whatever that workout's going to be. And then tag us at Running with James. And because I want us to take this journey together. This summer, that's what I want you to do. I want us to do this together. Whoever your accountability buddy is, whoever that person is, right? I want you to right now, like, set up in your mind that, you know what, now's the time. I'm going to set the discipline. Forget about next season. Forget about the race in November. Right now, I'm going to start setting micro goals, and I'm going to start accomplishing them. And then I'm going to be letting other people know when I do that.
Let us be your accountability buddy.
That's it.
That
Running with
post.
James. We're a
Yep.
crew. We're a community. We're here to support each other and to build each other up. And we're all, say it with me, all. Y'all didn't
All.
say it.
All.
Say it with me, all.
All.
We're all elite athletes.
We're
just
all elite
There
athletes.
we go. We just got to work our way to
The
it.
enthusiasm we could do better.
Yeah, I believe it. I agree.
It's
So.
the start of the season. We'll work. That's our goal.
That's our goal.
That's our goal.
Bring
More
that enthusiasm.
enthusiasm.
Yeah.
There we go.
So.
That's it.
All right, guys, that's all we have for you today. I appreciate you coming in. As always, if you have the ability to do so, please check us out on patreon.com/runningwithjames. You can also check us out on the YouTube channel where you can subscribe, love everything we do, share everything we do, become a part of this amazing growing community. And as always, remember, if you change your mind,
You can
Change
change
your
your
life.
life.